We are here in Namwala district of Zambia, and the local chief has just died. Namwala district was one of the research areas that was selected for the Competing for Water program to research on water-related conflicts and cooperation. The population here is predominantly Ila, of whom cattle is of great importance. The more cattle you have, the richer you have, and the more influence you have. That influence can also be used to ease your access to water.
As in many other places, people in Namwala district use water not only for domestic, but also for productive purposes. Those who are better off can afford to construct deep wells that have a certain but limited amount of water year-round, thereby ensuring their water supply also for agricultural purposes. The poor, however, can only afford to dig shallow wells that are 3 to 5 meters deep, but these wells dry out in the dry season. When that happens, the poor have to ask for water for drinking and other domestic purposes from their better-off neighbours, thereby increasing their dependency on them. The construction of public boreholes and pumps to bring out groundwater can therefore make a big difference to the poor, not only by providing access to groundwater even in the dry season, but also by freeing them from a possible dependency on their better-off neighbours. But new boreholes and pumps can also make a big difference to better-off families by making it possible for them to water bigger herds of cattle and bigger gardens using groundwater. Therefore, the competition among users often increases when more water becomes available. It is often local power relations rather than the need for water which determine the outcome of such competition.
Okay.
This well is not sufficient for the people in Mahon because they are not able to do their gardening, and it dries out during the dry season. They've been waiting for over 3 weeks to have a new borehole drilled, but the truck that is supposed to do the drilling broke down, and apparently it has been hard for them to get spare parts. However, there is still high expectation among the people waiting for the borehole.
Amana maboho ate watu kuli maboho is almost 7 kilometers away kuwana.
Kambo mali twajana bwe chindeje twamana kutebula mapopwe. Twasambala mapopwe myezi ya July August amana. Twashara magadi.
Because a new water resource like a public borehole can be used year-round for clean water and for watering animals and gardens, everyone is interested in this water. It's understandable, therefore, that many seek to use their influence to ensure that the borehole is located as close to them as possible, to allow them easy and plentiful access to water. Some people have easier contact with decision-makers than others, and this contact can be used to influence the location of a new public borehole.
In our study, we've come across examples that show that the site has been moved to ease the access for those related to the implementing officials.
In the case of the Eliza community, a new public borehole intended for the whole community ended up being located at the headman's private compound, where he and his family use it for irrigation.
Pere muntu tagonya kulima chimbwali cheno chindi tulila iyi garden njiyangu yonse
hina ya mwana enu yalo italira
Korea tunda ali atusamutolia.
This is banana. We have bananas. We get money from these bananas. The water is coming from the tank, that side. There is pipes underground that brings water from there up to here. This is okra. We sell to get money. But sometimes when we get more money from these crops, we bought cows from the same thing.
Ulalia mbudi bwazanda Ambo balalima balawo ya kintu shabo kuendela no boholo eyi.
Lyashike boho ni lyashika bantu bapangana kwambaliye kusaidi kolya uniho ni kyashika chindi chakushe boho twakaya nabwo bantu batalika kusha kolya kubana John batalika kusha kumbali kung'anda kwaba manyongo awo kwirana kwamba balo bakutekera kumbali kung'anda kolya chakatuzumina uswe twachileka kuteka kolya Bume bwatuzumina kumakana kulima magadeni twauko hao kwanyisha kulima magadeni kuti twakusebeha iboho leli ya irrigation so tulalima tu garden tushonto kamboka kugula mehi bamwe balachiloha kulima magadeni mapando kambo balasebeha leli iboho leli uri kwete mehi manje chibalima magadeni mapando so tulalima tushonto kamboka kuteka mehi mumukalo muri mehi mashonto.
In other cases, where an initial contribution is required to be made by the community, those who contribute a bigger share may exert more influence in the decision on where to drill the borehole.
The water committee, it should be representatives of all the villages around, the water point. Now, in the case where other community members do not have the money, then the others have the money, or one person has the money, you call the community and say, I will pay the amount of money. So when he pays, it's like he's going to control now the decisions that others are going to be making in that committee. So it makes others to be strong, then others to be very weak because of the approach itself. It's not the whole community that has actually paid that money. It's just one individual, and that person would want the bore, of course, to be near his place.
Because there isn't much surface water in Namwala district, water access is usually at groundwater sources such as boreholes and wells and involves multiple water uses. These include gardening, cattle watering, and household drinking. The different user groups can actually have conflicts, and our data has shown that 45% of the conflicts in Namwala occurs at boreholes and wells.
Balatuma bambo tulakwirana asetulanda tuteke nehi tukaike tukati abo balanda bateke nehi banwishe ng'ombe shabo batole ng'ombe shikachele bayokibanda bakakobolola ng'ombe bamana okobolola limu bahoka mangoli habahiza bo ng'ombe yomwe ilakwana 20 liters emijindolo 40 liters olo 30 liters.
Our data also shows that only 4% of the conflicts are violent.
Ndashika kono aze wangu wa ng'ombe oleza bulingire ng'ombe shagwe ndapompa mbo pompa ezo aze waiza wale tajibaho ati nimenda tangu na ushika ndamba pepe ndikanteke hinduya aze wakaka wanka utonkana bu twaumana twakwatana totero na headman watileteka
balamwana batihupwa chihiga chinda tamwe kungambu yakwali na sisina zimuchugweje mumatovu ati au tula magaindu tuanda kunu hengombe chita kino akuba butichishu chahala me kukanga muoka stese okutoba twaleka kutela yi tuteyo mujurisu no inanguni kuiga mujura ya tamwe amuleke magarden mukalongwa ngwa ngombe.
The data shows that 38% of the conflicts are reported and usually to headmen. However, the intervention of the headmen usually favors the male gender and the interest of the influential cattle owners.
Maye buku tulatonga uga atikaimba basanko mukalali mumu batege ngombe bamaka hajishu ino ka amba tube no bamba ora chega jindi tumutega mehe jo numutega mwebo.
Awo ndabona mirawo ingayava kamba kwina ntujitendera no mulawo pe kuhumba kintu jabagale ja muhyobozo biriye kuba mirawo endera nawo Kambo let me say guli muntu uzanda kwamba ateka ataganwe. Then umula ateka atulatirira garden. Umula anda kunuhengombe so abale kupana chance. Uhi kunwa me ule kwamba wateka jini igomo have na hiriho bile watola wakusebeya mulimo ngwasebeya. Uhi garden wakonkera kunhiwa mwihi ya mwihi. Ali mwazahi ga hingombe beli mbona. Ule kupewa jindi ya kutaze bangombe bagwe babanwe ahwe.
During our study here in Namwala, we have seen that there is great need for boreholes and that they have great potential for reducing poverty. They allow women and poor to have access to water all year round to do their gardening.
But the study also shows that competition for water often grows when more water is made available, and that power relations, rather than the need for water, determine the outcome of such competition. Clear rules of access to water may help to ensure that the less powerful also benefit when more water is made available. But rules may be broken. In such cases, there is a need for independent and accessible mediating institutions for people who have their rights of access denied.
The drillers have not yet arrived in Maho community. There is rumor that they will arrive on Sunday. The drilling will only take 3 to 4 hours and it will definitely change these people's lives. Let's hope that when the borehole comes, it will bring in a lot of cooperation and conflicts among this community. In the meantime, the people can have time to mourn their dead chief and celebrate the coming of a new borehole.
Kita kino kuba kutishu. Chahala me.